fighting for freedom every day.
They are absolutely desperate to pretend the last 4 years never happened and for them to go back to what they liked to do before, which is create these massive spending bills to pretend that it's really, really important to you when you only get about 5% of what's in the bill, and they can't do it because we're aware of it. We're paying attention to it, and they don't like that.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Darn right, it's the Voice of Reason. Welcome into the program. I am Andy Hoosier. Thanks for hanging out today on a post-Monday celebration, the greatest day of the entire week, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship radio station all over the country, radio and TV, plus the live streaming and podcasting thereafter as well. Hey, it's a Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. We have it all over social media with the live streaming, with the podcasting on the website at HoosierReason.com. Your millennial general reporting for duty like we do every single day. It's a big show for you, and I have realized, I've come to the conclusion that I'm not the most forward-thinking individual. Look, I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. We're trying to boost this Hoosier Media Network. We're trying to grow this network, trying to do our own thing little by little. And it's working. Don't get me wrong. We have some really cool stuff coming up, and I'm excited about it. But I've realized I'm not the most forward-thinking entrepreneur to find new and inventive businesses for the market, for the private sector, for the consumer. Because I realize there are people coming up with ideas that I never would have thought of in my entire life, because I thought those would be kind of non-existent. For example, there is, did you know, in this nation, in certain parts, and this story out of Scottsdale, Arizona. I love Arizona. I've been there once driving through, never really got to stop a hole, but it's got very hot. I get it, down a little bit south, but Arizona, there is a place you can spend 75, listen up, by the way, farmers, agriculture, industry leaders, and individuals around the rural parts of this country, which is most of where I probably get a lot of my listeners. But did you know that in Arizona, there is a farm where you can spend $75 an hour to cuddle with a cow? Oh, yes. And I don't know why am I so... Oh, there we go. Let's try this again. That you can cuddle with a cow. I don't know why it's sounding's not working. All right, hey, there we go. All right. Totally blew that joke. Anyways, MSN.com is the story where you can spend $75 an hour to cuddle with a cow, and especially it seems to be a booming industry for individuals who have been lacking the emotional support they need or the social interaction during COVID-19 and during the pandemic. So they travel, and this story is about an individual who brought their friend to a farm in Arizona to spend the $75 an hour to cuddle with the cow. The farm has about 100 rescued farm animals with many disabilities. Cow cuddling sessions cost $75 an hour and are booked through the end of July. Yeah. Now, when I say that I'm not the most innovative entrepreneur, I realize that I'm missing an entire demographic. I'm missing an entire market that I could be accessing with the Hoosier Media Network, trying to reach out to new crowds and trying to make a quick buck on the side. And that could be, if I had a farm, I could sell cow cuddling. Now, apparently, this also goes into humans. You could also do cuddling sessions. Now, this is not like a prostitution thing, which you would think would be kind of along the same lines. But apparently, there are multi-million-dollar industries across this nation where you can pay like $50 an hour to cuddle with somebody. I mean, I get it. People want some connection. People want some interaction. And if they don't have any significant other to be able to cuddle with or have that, physical connection with, okay, I guess, but to pay for it just seems a little dirty, doesn't it? Just seems a little weird. We're not going to do anything like adult activity-wise. We're just going to cuddle. It's a little strange to me. But cow cuddling takes it to another level. Now, the farm that they go to in Arizona is an animal rescue farm, Amy's Farm Animal Sanctuary in Queen Creek, Arizona, near Phoenix, to cuddle with cows. Is kind of one of their main things, and they take care of these rescue animals. They save them from being slaughtered, and then they take them there, and you can pay to cuddle with them. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need help coming up with a new business venture on how to appeal to apparently my generation who needs to cuddle with cows. I mean, they already have the animal thing, so what else can we do? I need to be forward thinking here. I need to be a little bit smarter. I need to think outside the box a little bit. Now, there have been some new business ventures because of my generation, because we like the nostalgia. So I'm thinking of going down that line. I know in some places of the country, you can actually have Nerf gun sites, kind of like laser guns? But you do Nerf guns, and it's like little obstacle courses inside. My generation apparently loves the nostalgia. That's why we have superhero movies that are so big today, because my generation won't let go of their childhood. And there have been places that do the Nerf gun thing. I think I need to start a Nerf gun, whatever you want to call it, obstacle course or realm. I don't know what you even would call something like that. We had the cuddling thing down. Maybe a video game center where you can compete against video games. I don't know. But I need to come up with something a little bit more innovative, because I realize that I'm slacking. Yeah, and I need to work on that just a little bit, because there are so many business ventures out there that we could succeed in just by appealing to individuals who apparently want to cuddle with cows. Who knows? Coming up on the program, Dave Limsky. He's going to be joining us on the program today. He has come up with a new social media site. Is it worth checking out? Is it worth signing up for? He spoke at the Conservative Political Action Conference a week or so ago, and he's going to be talking about his new social media platform. And what that one is called is Our Freedom Book, if you've heard of that one. So Our Freedom Book is the new social media family-friendly site called Friends, Family, and Freedom, where you don't get censored. And Dave Lipsky, he'll be joining us at the bottom of the hour to talk about that one. I am really excited, though. And this goes in line with the new business ventures that people are trying to work on. It's a new year. It's a new time. COVID-19's kind of adapted things to the quote-unquote new norm. But we're adapting. And I'm very excited. I was a little worried, obviously, after the whole Biden administration and the taking over the Democrats in both chambers of the legislature and the presidency. Where do we go from here? What do we do? How do we fight some of this? And what have we been saying since the very beginning? Nullification, states' rights, state sovereignty, bringing it back to the statewide level. That's what we need to do. We need to be able to fight the federal government to say, sorry, you can sign all the bills you want. We're not enforcing it down here on the local front and at the statewide front. And we can do that on just about every single thing that they choose to do. Now, with them spending massive amounts of money, astronomical amounts of money at the federal level, not much we can do about that, other than maybe states saying, I'm not going to accept that money. Thanks. But you're not going to. States hate turning down money. They'll take money any way they can actually get. But there are good signs out there right now. My optimism of the day shows that there are 3 stories right now that are really optimistic on ways that we should be very proud, because the states are taking the initiative to take things into their own hands. We realize we will not abide by the crazy left-wing Biden progressive administration. We will not abide by this ridiculous COVID restrictions. We will not abide by the taking over of the Second Amendment. We will not abide by the continuous abuse of the voter fraud system in America, and we will try and clean this system up one day at a time. Here's a couple headlines for you from CNBCnews.com. Iowa governor signs bill that Republicans passed into restricting voting access into law. Now, according to the media, very, very bad. Restricting access. And we can talk about the actual details of these bills in a minute. The second bill from NPR, the second story, South Dakota, and Governor Kristi Noem, who I'm a very big fan of, passes bill restricting transgender girls from sports teams. Oh, my. At the same time, the state of Texas is working on nullification for immigration and trying to do their own enforcement at the statewide level, because we realize that immigration is just getting out of hand. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. At the same time, we have Missouri, we have Kansas, we have Florida, we have Alaska. We have so many states working on sanctuary Second Amendment bills as well to protect the Second Amendment. And I look at all of these headlines, and the media is just going nonstop, just in full overtime load mode, trying to attack these stories, how bad it is for these states to do their own thing. But seeing headline after headline after headline for weeks on end now, working on these pieces of legislation all over the country, and we've had guests on talking about these pieces of legislation. Do you know what that tells me? That tells me people are awake. That tells me that they are abiding and listening and knowing what's going on, and that we are taking the action into our own hands. I learned it a very long time ago when I was young, even when I was really young, which, young kids aren't very smart and they're not mature enough. I learned at a very young age that unless you want something to get done, you need to do it yourself, because if you ask somebody else to do it, it ain't going to get done. And, by the way, you also ask someone who's too busy to do it, because if it's a priority to them, they'll make sure it gets done, because that's why they're so busy, is because they actually are productive and actually succeed in what they say they're going to do. 2 bits of wisdom coming from the Voice of Reason today. But while I see headlines over the last couple of weeks about state after state after state working on pieces of legislation to promote freedom, to defend freedom, and to preserve it at the statewide levels, my heart warms. And I feel confident, again, that we can get through whatever's going on, whatever's going to happen at the Biden administration at the federal level. We can get through whatever the progressives want to try and throw at us. We're not going to abide by all of it. And while they try to take freedoms as just a common sense, normal, rational approach to society, which is not the case, we're coming out and saying, no, that's not okay. We're going to do our own thing. Thanks. Now, obviously, not every state's going to do that, but a lot of states are. Now, Iowa's getting a lot of heat because they want to, here's the headline from NBC.com, but Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds on Monday signed into law the Republican-backed bill that makes it harder to vote early, potentially eroding a key aspect of Democratic campaigns. What does that tell you? By the way, in the last election, they say 70% of Democrats in the state of Iowa voted early voting. Now they're trying to narrow that gap. They had, I believe, 48 days for early voting. Then they narrowed it down to 28 days. Now they passed the bill wanting to narrow that back down to 20 days. So they really cut it in half from what they used to do before. I see no problem with that personally. I like a limited early voting because you should be voting on Election Day. You should go out and vote on Election Day. You should have your registration done. You should be ready to go. You should go and vote. Boom, it's done, whether you do it online and electronically, whether you do it with the paper ballot, whether you do it by mail because you can't make it there. Whatever you do, there needs to be a very limited window, a limited time to do it, because that's the time to actually vote. Wild concept, I know, but that's how you do it. And they're going to get heat for that because, well, there was no voter fraud in the state of Iowa. So why are you trying to manipulate? Because Republicans are trying to limit access to the voting booth, which is not the case. Why is it saying you don't need to show up a month beforehand, you need to show up on Election Day? How is that limiting your vote? And if you're not going to be there and you know you're not going to be around at that time, you request a mail-in ballot. You can do a provisional ballot, or not a provisional, but you can do a mail-in ballot. You get it, you send it off at the appropriate time, and then you're good. How is that limiting a vote? But according to Democrats, no, it needs to be wide open. You can register all the way up to the day of the election. You can vote like 2 months in advance, and then you can maybe vote multiple times. What does that do with such a wide realm, with such a wide view of the elections? Being able to vote 2 months in advance, being able to register the day of, it causes chaos. And what do they do in chaos? They take advantage of the chaos because then you don't find all the shenanigans within the chaos that they can actually create. It opens up the door for voter fraud while they try and say that there's no such thing as voter fraud that probably just got us kicked off social media for the day.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Hey, it's Andy Hoosier with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HoosierReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HoosierReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HoosierReason.com. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HoosierReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hoosier Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosierholic by going to HoosierReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hoosier Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hoosier Media Network, visit us on the website at HoosierReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hoosier Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right you are. Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out today. Post a Monday celebration, one of the greatest days of the entire week. 24 minutes past the hour, radio and TV. Plus we have the live streaming going on and the podcast after the program as well, which it's growing. Also make sure to check us out on our website at HoosierReason.com. Again, no I in Hoosier, Hooser, Reason.com, and all of our social media. I had a comment on one. Where do I find the social media? All the social media sites at Hoosier Reason is the hashtag for all of them. You can find us, follow us, and we appreciate you very, very much. Had a comment on the YouTube channel as well. It's not in their jurisdiction. I don't know what that's in reference to. I'm wondering if it's to the voting bills, which it is in the jurisdiction for the states. The states can set their own prerogative how they want to set their voting rights in their state. The federal government, the Constitution, just tells the states, like, you're allowed to vote in a federal and statewide election as long as you are a U.S. citizen. But outside of that, it doesn't say anything else, which means it diverts back to the states to decide how they decide on what or how they verify you as a U.S. citizen. And if they set on certain categories of how here in the state of Kansas, we used to have some really stringent laws on having to show your birth certificate or some sort of identification when you register, and then showing your photo ID actually at the voting booth on that day of voting. Some places make you do that on voting day. Some places don't. Some just make you sign or just verify your address or something. So every state's a little bit different on how they actually do those. And remember, especially when it comes to the primary elections, we have Republican and Democrats. The party themselves actually set the election time. They set the date. They set the stipulations, they set the locations, they set everything. They organize exactly how the primary elections are done based on the party. Some states and some parties within their states allow open voting, which means you don't have to be registered in that party to go and vote, which I am not a fan of in any way, shape, or form. I believe that if you're a Republican, you get to have a say in the Republican nominee. If you're not a Republican, I don't want you messing up my election and what we want as a Republican Party. Same with the Democrat Party. Other states are very close like that. Others do primaries, while some states do caucuses. So it's really up to the state and the parties to organize those elections. And then by the general election, it's all run through the state Secretary of State's office in organizing those elections as well. The other bill, again, I love the state rights movement that we're seeing at the moment. We see the federal level do the transgender bill, the equality bill is what they like to call that one, saying that really transgender individuals wanting, like a male wanting to be a female, can participate in the sports, can go into the locker rooms, can do everything that a woman can because they see that as equality. But what that does is actually harms women a lot. We've talked about that on the program. And now South Dakota passing the bill restricting that. Ain't going to fly in here in the state. According to NPR.org, the South Dakota Senate passed a bill that would restrict transgender women athletes from competing in high school and college girls and women's teams. The measure now goes to the Republican Governor Kristi Noem, who said she is excited to sign the bill into law. Quote, "This is a very simple bill. It's a bill to protect women's sports. It's not against transgenders. To me, it looks an awful lot like bullying, according to Democrats, though, because how dare you don't allow a man to compete in women's sports." I know. They say, Andy, they're not a woman. They are, and you can go into the real science and facts about what that is. Again, I don't care what you feel like. If you want to feel like, that's great. That's cool. You can't jump into a UFC fight as a man and bust up and crack a woman's skull, which they have done a couple times before they decided to ban transgenders from actually fighting in the UFC. When there are, 300 male students across the nation that actually beat the top woman's record in running, like in track and field, for the mile, whatever it was, like 300 male students across the nation beat the fastest high school girl in the nation. 300 boys did that. And you're trying to tell me that it's fair for them to be able to compete in the women's sports and break all the records, get all the scholarships, take all the money, take all the recognition. I'm just not okay with that. I'm not okay with that process. And guess what? The federal government did something dumb, and the states are responding. We're going to protect it at our statewide level. We're going to do our own thing. Nothing you can do about it. That's the way the system's supposed to work. Our democracy, our constitutional republic is playing into action right now, and I love it. I absolutely love it. We'll take a break after the bottom of the hour. When we come back, Dave Lipsky, he'll be joining us about Our Freedom Book, the new social media site. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of the Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hoosier Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hoosier Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HoosierReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
The Hoosier Media Network is way more than just the voice of reason. It's your source to find numerous different online talk shows, podcasts, TV, and radio programs, all in one simple online location for you. From political talk to health talk to whatever you may be interested in, we're here for you. And I tell you, it's growing every day. Catch Tracy Maxfield with her podcast, Engage, Educate, and Empower, discussing mental health issues in children and teenagers. From bullying, teenage suicide, addiction, ADHD, and so much more, learn from Tracy and her guests about symptoms, signs, and ways to talk to your children, plus so much more. Having battled depression, being the author of the internationally acclaimed book, Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and being a retired nurse, Tracy is kind of the go-to on the subject. Make sure to find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, along with her website at tracymaxfield.com. Also, make sure to tune into the weekly podcast, Jump, Pivot, and Roll with Shannon Stiles and Rachel Murphy. Taking that next big leap of faith is hard. Trying to write a book, maybe struggling with a relationship, looking to take that next big career step. What's stopping you? There's a lot of big questions there. and they're questions that Rachel and Shannon want to help with you each and every week. It's Jump, Pivot, and Roll on any of your favorite podcasting sites and on Facebook and YouTube. All of these shows and a heck of a lot more can be found on the Hoosier Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels. Make sure to follow and subscribe to check them out today. Follow all the shows, and if you have any inquiries, check us out at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosierholic by going to HoosierReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hoosier Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hoosier with the Voice of Reason, and I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hoosier Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HoosierReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hoosier Media Network.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Darn right you are. Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today on a Post-Monday celebration, trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag, trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time, radio and TV, plus we have the live streaming and the podcasting there as well. You can find us all over social media at Hoosier Reason. That's Hooser Reason. Also on the website at HoosierReason.com. Now, we are on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, Parler, which is not there anymore, really, although they say it's up. I'm not sure when it's coming back up, and on the YouTube page as well. Plus, I just downloaded, over the break, as we get ready for our next guest here, the new app that we're going to be talking about, and you'll be able to find us on there, on Our Freedom Book. and you'll be able to find us on there at Hoosier Reason as well. And I'm excited to have on to talk about some of the censorship, new social media sites. I mean, as you know, we've been banned numerous times on here. We have limited, we're not in the algorithm any longer. We used to rock these social media sites on our live streaming, our video live streaming each and every day. Now it's like, a little flaky, but we're trying to hang in there as we kind of start working our own thing with the Hoosier Media Network. But we've been banned on Facebook. We've had YouTube actually just take down 3 episodes yesterday again. Now Facebook doesn't even like us doing the Facebook Lives and won't let me share it anywhere. So that's really nice. So what can we do about it? Can we find a social media site that's actually going to be friendly to where we can enjoy and we can actually have our freedom of speech without it being censored? There is a new site, Our Freedom Book, and I'm excited to have on the CEO of the new app, Our Freedom Book, Dave Lipsky, with us here. Dave, how are you, my friend?
Living the dream like you, brother.
Hey, every single day, right? It is. It's a crazy time to where now, the news is, how can we get around social media to allow people to actually see the content we're trying to share, whether it's personal and trying to share the family picture, or whether it's business and trying to sell something with a retail store doing online shopping, or whether it's content like information and news where they say like, well, you're not allowed to share that because our third-party investigators say that that's just fake news. Like, that's a crazy time.
You know, we've been in the crazy time for quite a few years. The problem is that every one of our Americans around the world have gotten used to it.
Yeah.
Some choose to enjoy it. You know, some choose to enjoy it and adapt. You know, but as a true American that abides by the First Amendment, we will not adapt, and we recognize the issue. And that's just like myself, and I'm sure yourself also. You know, having a third party involved in any commentary when you're actually making a comment on a Facebook or a Twitter or even YouTube, and having someone to just remove it, fact check you, jail you, stop you from commenting. I mean, that's pretty. You know, I call that a third wheel, and
right.
A third wheel is a bad date. You know, and nothing comes from a good third wheel or a bad date. So what I decided to do, and again, this is something that this was not something that I woke up and said I'm going to go to school for. This is not what this is about. This was about effectiveness that happened to my own personal family. I myself would laugh at people and say, hey, you got jailed. Who cares? You get 30 days. Who cares? I don't care if you got thrown off. I don't care your stories. You know, I wasn't not a big social media,
right.
You know, like in that category. And I'd say, if you got thrown off, why even be on it? And all I would say is, why go to something you're being thrown off of? How are you so controlled? These are always my responses. So my wife liked Facebook. She was like Facebook, and she had a business on there, and she had a personal her personal page. She had 2 businesses on there. And my wife got involved in the conversation, and poof. Next day, my wife was poof, gone.
Wow.
They didn't warn her or jail her or nothing of that nature. They what they call is disabled her.
Yeah.
So she thought it was a mistake, and for days it went on. My wife was, trying to call, email, respond. No one will respond to her. So it now became a problem in my home, and the effects. It became a ripple effect, and I says, you know what? Now it's too close to home. I see what the effects are. I'm going to do something about it.
Sure.
And what I did was I says, you know what? I want people to be free. I want people to be able to be able to speak and be able to be heard. I want people to be able to, express how they feel. So I decided to create a developing team. I decided to put together and build platforms. And I decided to go across the spectrum, and I also decided to get my own service stations. And that's what we did. And I listened to public. I let them, express to me as we were in the process of building and putting product out there. They were giving me ideas, and I utilized their ideas, too, as we do still till today. Products that they like, and I added in. I did live stream. I did, great messenger, phone call, friend finders, really great stuff.
Yeah.
And you know what? I got to tell you, it's going wonderful. People are loving freedom of speech. I've learned that cancel culture is the worst thing in the world. That cancel culture can actually destroy you, take away your livelihood, your business, your friends, your home. So what my intentions is what I'm doing is not canceling culture. We're conserving culture, and we know there's an assault on our freedom of speech. So again, instead of there being an assault on our freedom of speech, we're going to combat the assault on freedom of speech. These are part of our protocols of what we're working with. Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, and we're working strong. Look, it's funny. I was also in conversations with quite a few people, and they're calling me David and Goliath. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? And they're like, well, look, you're David, and you're taking on Goliath because Goliath is the big tech. And I was like, I never thought about that. This wasn't done to be intentional. This wasn't done to hurt nobody. This wasn't done to be, create competition to the world. This is not what this is about. This was just about creating a level field for everyone. And
in order to do that, you need competition. Like you said, I mean, with Facebook, Twitter, and Google really dominating everything, you can't have alternatives, and we don't get to actually express our freedom of speech however we deem to do so. So, I mean, this is a competitive way to counter some of that and actually say you can preserve, like you mentioned, with certain speech, preserve culture, and we can do it in a free way without them actually coming out and censoring you. So that's exactly what we need in the market.
Well, what happened is once I came out, I was actually in CPAC. I had my ad up there, and it was running through the whole entire CPAC, which was beautiful. It was a great time there. A day later, we got some input that all of a sudden shadow bans were lifted. And what that meant to us is that, okay, now we have recognition. They see we're out there. And we are going to be a competitor. Yeah. And it wasn't intended to be like that. I just wanted people to go to a place to have to be comfortable and be happy and have another home, so a safe haven to be at, and to feel the difference between where they are and where they're going. You know what I'm saying? To feel the difference. And I got to tell you, it's phenomenal how it's a beautiful working site. Like it works just like it works just like, I'm going to use this terminology, if you don't mind, fascist book, because I have to use that terminology, because I can't use terminology that they don't abide by. I can't do it. Yeah. And I've also learned that other products that are out there have put certain rules and regulations in place also that no one knows about. And that's the door to Pandora's box right there, too, that's going to be appearing soon also. Some other social media sites. I refuse to do that. I won't do it. I want everyone to be happy. I'm not asking for much. You know what I'm saying? Sure. None of us are asking for much.
No. We just want to have our time. We got just a couple minutes here before we got to take a break, but talk about the app itself. What style is it? I mean, is it kind of a long format thing, kind of like a Facebook? Is it kind of a short format, kind of like a Twitter quick hit? I mean, talk about the app itself and how you can use it.
Okay, so our Freedom Book is an app just like, or desktop or app, you can either one, is just like Facebook. It has Messenger, it's got Friend Finder, it's got daylight, dark, you could put videos up, upload videos, you could do live stream. I have live stream on here also. Very you could do live stream on desktop or phones. Right now we're in the middle of finalizing on iOS. What we did have is we had an app for the phone and a messenger, and now we're combining to make it one. But nevertheless, we didn't stop there. We went further. I've got multiple platforms built out now that we're doing. Unbiased crowdfunding. I got Freedom Tube. I got Freedom iTunes. I'd love to tell you more. I don't want to hold up this 2 minutes. You have to go to commercial break.
I love it. No, I mean, we got a hard break in just about a minute. So when we come back, I want to talk about some more of those and all the different aspects that you're going with, which is amazing. Yeah. But just in this last 45 seconds or so, real quickly, how did the speech go at CPAC? I wish I could have been there. I love CPAC to death. I haven't made it in a few years, but did it go smoothly this year with you there?
Oh, it was beautiful. It was great. And then, I got to tell you, our president came out there. And it was just uplifting for everybody. And everyone had a great time when everyone was speaking. Everything was very uplifting and just a very comfortable, happy atmosphere. And there's nothing like being around happy atmosphere and freedom feeling. Nothing like it. Amen. But it went beautiful there. It was great.
Well, I'm really
Absolutely
glad.
beautiful.
I mean, I could feel the intensity, even especially when President Trump got up to speak. And I know many tried to say that he's not, but he's still the leader of that conservative movement right now, and we need to have that. And I mean, the fact that the president of the United States was censored on social media is kind of a big deal again, which leads to some of these alternatives as well.
That's exactly where we'll go in a few minutes. When you're ready to come back, I'll definitely go over that with you. I'll explain to you what we did for that.
Yeah, I love that. We'll do that. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the other options that you have going on, plus what's going on with some of the censorship. It's Our Freedom Book. You can find it. You can download it. I just downloaded it onto my phone, and we may start doing heck, maybe just get rid of Facebook and just do our live streaming right off of there as well here soon, because I think that's what we have to do. It's Dave Lipsky. We'll continue this when we come back. It's The Voice of Reason. It's a post-Monday celebration, finding ways where we can continuously try to preserve, like freedom of thought. What a crazy concept. All right, here on the show. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hoosier Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hoosier Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HoosierReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HoosierReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's The Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HoosierReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HoosierReason.com. Oh, hi. Conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hoosier with The Voice of Reason, and I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hoosier Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HoosierReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what The Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason.
Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with The Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosierholic by going to HoosierReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hoosier Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HoosierReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hoosierholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Darn right you are. Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today, trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag. Being as productive as Joe Biden in his basement. Ha! Like that? See what we did there? See that? Yeah, welcome into the show. A few minutes left. You can find us all over the interweb plus radio and TV as well. Dave Lipsky, the founder of Our Freedom Book. It's actually kind of fun, so I'm scrolling through the app during the breaks, and now I'm going to get addicted to another social media site, and setting it up is always like the best part of it because you get to like personalize all that stuff. And you can find us on Our Freedom Book at Hoosier Reason again on there as well. Dave, let's talk about, you mentioned like it's branching out to so many other types of social media as well. What all are you planning on doing, and what can we look forward to here soon?
Well, what happened was we were in the process of working with a video product, and when Donald Trump, our president, actually got knocked off with Right Side Broadcasting, and they got suspended for 2 weeks, you know, we took heart to it. So what I did is I finalized very quickly what they call our Freedom Tube, which is actually a product that is a very similarity to YouTube, which we would never take the president off. We would never take anybody off, you know, that wants freedom of speech or at least have the ability to video and express what they like. We did that really for that one reason, very close to it. And the next thing is because we recognized that people were being knocked off for raising funds for campaigns or for good cause, we then built a product called our Freedom Funding. So it's an unbiased crowdfunding product where you can raise funds for anything and not have to worry about being thrown off or have your money taken away. And
cool.
Yeah. And then the next thing was we also built a product very close to, and actually very similar to, but with our scripts and our build. It's called Our Freedom Bits, and that's a Twitter. It's actually a Twitter product. And we didn't stop there. We're actually finalizing our Freedom Gram, which is going to be a product attached to the Freedom Book. But everything we're doing is about freedom of speech.
Sure.
Be yourself. You know, we abide by what the law tells us we can and can't do. If you break the law, that's, you know, whatever the local law is for your area or your zip code. If something takes place, it has to be reported. If there's a death threats or things of possible suicides, you know, we work with that the local authorities if need be. You know, just for the right reasons.
Sure.
Not for, you know, taking your comment off or Facebook jails or, you know, disabling you, removing you. You know, I'm going to tell you this really quickly, and I think this kind of sums something up really easy. We have a level playing field, so we have a lot of rights, we have a lot of lefts, we have a lot of individuals. And there was a few that are actually getting into a commentary and really starting to, you know, argue with each other. And that would have never lasted not even 5 seconds on a Facebook platform, maybe a Twitter platform. It would never have lasted. It would have just one shot, and it would have been the right, so I would have knocked off in a second.
Sure.
In this case, we let it go, because there were reports being sent over to the team saying, hey, this looks like there's something going on. And because it was reported, they did look over it and watch it, and it came to me, and I says, leave it alone. Don't even get involved. Let it be. It's okay. Sure enough, at the end of the day, you know what happened? Guess what happened?
What's that?
They're friends now. After arguing and having this bickering back and forth,
they found common
ground.
They are
now friends. Now they actually share articles and stuff, and they actually work together and talk about it.
Wow,
it's amazing. And that was like something that happened out of nowhere. It became like a study. We were like, oh my God. So that 0.001% that we have successfully done made it well worthwhile of the investment into this for the world, and mainly for America.
Yeah,
okay.
It's amazing the fact that you can actually have people find common ground again, which is what it's all about, and it's amazing to watch that. I love it. We're out of time, my friend. We got to get you back on and get some more updates to talk about some of this stuff, because I'm fascinated by it, and I really want to help you guys promote this, our Freedom Book, plus all the other programs you have as well. I want to get my live streaming up on your guys' programs as well, because this is where it's going to be, trying to find that common ground with the social media. Dave Lipsky, our Freedom Book. Make sure to download the app. I have it on there right now. Dave, I appreciate the time very, very much, my friend. Just in about 20 seconds or so, how many people do you have on there right now, and how fastly is it growing?
It's growing quickly. We got up for about 3 months. We're about 150,000 and growing daily by itself organically.
Making it happen. I love it. Dave, I appreciate it, my friend. Let's do this again real soon.
Thank you. Hey. Thank you, Zen. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it very much. All right, that does it for us today. Podcast going up a little bit. Until then, back at it tomorrow. Lots more great guests on the show. Don't miss any of it. Until then, be your own voice of reason. It's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is The Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hoosier. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HoosierReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.